Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester. I'm sure you are too if you're watching this kind of content. The name of my channel is Manifesting Magic with Dr. J, and of course, I am Dr. J. I'm new Dr. J. So, nonetheless, what I want to talk about today is all things manifesting, but this is definitely really specifically related to manifesting. And it's something that I know a lot of people deal with because I see it all the time. So I'm going to talk about it. It's when you're struggling with your current circumstances. So, struggling and coping and dealing with things, like all those are different ways of handling something that you don't like that's happening that you're involved in and maybe you can't get out of in the foreseeable future, something like that. Or whatever it is, it depends. Um, when you're fighting against your current circumstance, it's almost as if you're telling the universe that that is the level where you belong because all of your energetic flow is pushing in that direction. When something is going on that you don't feel like meets your standards and you don't feel like is where you want to be, and you decide that, okay, I'm not going to fight with it, there's a part of you that's saying, it's just not it. I don't need to fight with it because I know my value and worth, and I'm okay with if this job doesn't work out. I'm okay with if this position doesn't work out or this career or relationship or whatever it is, right? And I think that is the place that you have to get to. So trying to get to a place where the current circumstance doesn't bother you at all and you're just like everything's so perfect and happy and positive, that may not be available to you. Sometimes it is. But just finding a place and getting to a place where you can say, I know what I deserve and I know what I want to get out of this, and I'm pretty clear and sure I don't have to fight with it, because most fighting and aggravation or anger that you may have with a current circumstance, it usually comes from um, the lack of clarity. So the lack of clarity can be very frustrating because you feel like, okay, I'm not getting what I want, but I don't know exactly what it is that I want. So instead of me allowing that energy to say, well, let me just take a beat and figure this out, a lot of times what we do is get aggravated and angry with the circumstance, and then we start pointing at all these things that aren't right in it, but we really don't have a solution for what might improve that situation. And that's a very common thing. I think also fighting with the situation, it just means that you're not settled on what it is you believe. So think about going into a restaurant. So I grew up as a little Muslim kid, and I never could eat pork. And my mom had me pretty sold on it, my whole family anyway. And I didn't go and have pork. I didn't have hot dogs at people's houses. Like, I didn't eat any, and I still don't eat pork to this day. But it's just a choice at this point. It's not religious based. But so I mean, I just never had pork. And so I go in a restaurant and I would sit down at a table, even still now, and they bring me something and they say, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's pork on there? And they say, oh, yes. I'm like, oh, I can't eat that. What else did you have? And I don't even take a moment to consider. I don't sit there and try to pick the pork out of it and say, oh, let me get it. And, and then and I don't get aggravated. What is this food that, you know what? Because I know what I want. And I'm okay with the fact that they didn't get it right, because another restaurant will get it right. Another server, another cook, they'll get it right. I don't have to be bothered or upset about it, right? So I think this is something that we can take with us in everyday life, and like when we deal with people and we have instances and circumstances. Sometimes when we find ourselves getting so frustrated, it's just simply because we know we're not getting what we want, but we really don't know what that want is. And so we've given the situation so much power that now we have all this negative energy and negative attitude, and we can't even focus on what we know we deserve. Because when you're in those spaces where you know what you deserve and you know what you're looking for and you're clear about it, you don't spend any time in aggravation. Because why? You know. There's no time to be annoyed, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's even, I think about shopping all the time, right? And I go in a store, I have these really specific things about the way that I shop, right? I don't buy pants that float around my ankles because I'm 5'7" in a couple of quarters. So that's a little bit beyond average female height. And so I don't buy pants that dangle. So if I try on something and it fits me real good at the top, and the bottom, I do this to my leg. I stretch it out, I do it, and it starts high watering me. I don't even think about it because I know once I get it home, I'm never going to choose to take it out of the closet because it's not in alignment with what I know that I truly want. It may have had a really good waistline. It may have had really cute pockets. It may be a really cute print. The fabric may be wonderful. It may have been all these amazing things. But if they're high waters, I'm never going to choose to wear them. And I don't have to get aggravated or angry or bothered about the pants. I can just make a decision that when I see it and when it's that thing, I don't know. But I also understand that there's another aspect is you have to go through that frustration sometimes to actually know. And we know this too, right? So when you see in yourself knocking against that wall and your frustration is still there, that is a perfect time to give whatever it is that you're struggling with away to the universe. Give it away to God, give it away to the universe, give it away to Buddha, give it away to Allah, give it away to Jehovah, give it away to Jesus, give it away to whoever you want. But it's a perfect time to give it away to whatever entity you see as your creator and as that solid space of knowing and understanding and clarity that we all have inside of us. Just give it away. Then you don't have anything else to talk about. Because really all you're talking about in those confused and aggravated moments is a whole lot of what you don't like. And so it's like, I get that. So what it is that I do want is this, respect. What it is that I do want is love and attention. What it is that I do want is the right pay rate. What it is that I do want is more time on projects at work. What it is that I do want is my children to be a lot more responsible for each other's feelings when they're having conversation. So getting more clear in that space, I don't have to fight with it anymore because I know exactly what it is I want to see. I know exactly what it is that I'm trying to achieve. And if the standards currently aren't meeting that, then I have to do a few course corrections to be, hey, this isn't turning out the way I want it to be. I want to attract this really specific type of thing, and this is just not it. How do I address that? And if you're not in that space yet, you can always just say, I don't really know what to do with this. Is this in alignment with who I am and where I'm trying to go? Is this in alignment with what I see for myself? Is this in alignment with the world and the space and the environment that I have been creating for myself and, my future, if you want to go that far into it? Is this that? Once you give that away in a clear and concise prayer, a clear and concise conversation with your creator, you can walk away knowing that the next step is going to be the best step. The next step is what's going to open those doors and create clarity in this area where you've been experiencing a lot of confusion. Just know that giving it away when you have bumped your head against the walls is the next best step you can take in finding clarity. But fighting with your current circumstances, it only says to the current circumstances like, hey, she likes me around. She want to fight with me. That's all that is you're giving all that energy to the current circumstance and you're just creating a cycle to where it stays in your space. Don't fight with it anymore. Know your worth. Know your value. Don't fight with it anymore. If something is not meeting that standard, it would eventually go away because that's how everything works. Okay? So anyway, I think that's all I had to talk about with that. Fighting against your current situations, affecting your manifestations. You want to just keep it clean. Like, you know how people like to eat clean? You want to keep your energy as clean as possible in that way. Whenever you see garbage starting to build up, you have to address it in some kind of way. And sometimes you don't know how to address it. You don't know what next steps to do. You don't know how to create the space that you need to figure it out. But you have to not allow the circumstance to bring you into a very negative space where you're fighting with it because you're not going to make any progress in it whatsoever. And the goal is to make progress so you can start working on one of those other problems that you have. Because literally that's how it works. Anyway, well, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Stay blessed, stay happy.